I'd like to call to order this regular council meeting of the town of Saugeen Shores, and the first order of business is a declaration of pecuniary interest, and I'll remind every member of your responsibility to do so. The next item is additions, deletions, or amendments to the agenda, and we have nothing under that. Adoption of minutes, and it's been moved by Councillor Madison and seconded by Councillor Mike Myatt that the council adopt the minutes of the council meeting of June 13th, 2016 as presented. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? That's carried. The next is Committee of the Whole minutes of June 13th, and it's been moved by Councillor Grace and seconded by Councillor Dave Myatt. The council note and file the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting of June 13th, 2016 as presented. Any errors or omissions? Comments? All in favor? That's carried. The next is a general government report, June 13th, and it's been moved by Councillor Mike Myatt, seconded by Councillor Madison, that the Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores adopts the general government report dated June 13, 2016, recommending that the Memorandum of Understanding between Bruce Power and the County of Bruce with respect to the implementation of an economic development and innovation partnership be endorsed by the Town of Saugeen Shores, and that the town support the initiative, participate in the steering committee, and through the pending recruitment of the community development officer, endeavor to enhance the coordinated approach to leveraging the upcoming substantial investment in the nuclear sector that is forthcoming. Any questions or comments? All in favor then? Opposed if any? That's carried. Next item is an environmental services and transportation report, and it's been moved by Councillor Dave Myatt and seconded by Councillor Grace. The Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores adopts the environmental services and transportation report dated June 13, 2016, recommending the following. The Council authorizes the single source purchase of a new 2017 International 7500 single axle combination plow and sander unit from Viking Civies Limited for the quoted amount of $212,320.84 plus applicable taxes, and the council authorizes the purchase of a 54-inch zero-turn Kubota diesel lawnmower from Robert Farm and Recreation at a price of $12,353 plus applicable taxes. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed if any? That's carried. The next item is the Community Services, Parks and Recreation report, and it's been moved by Councillor Rich and seconded by Deputy Mayor Charbonneau that Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores adopts the Community Services, Parks and Recreation report dated June 13, 2016, recommending that the construction of a splash pad in North Shore Park at an estimated cost of $362,000 in 2017, containing the amenities as outlined in the presentation by the Saugeen Shores Splash Pad Fundraising Committee, be supported by Council in principle. That the town endorses the continuation of the ongoing community-based fundraising campaign to secure the funds required for the construction. That request for the group for a contribution towards the capital cost of the project in the amount of $75,000 be referred to the 2017 budget for discussions, and that the submission of a joint grant application to the Canada 150 Community Infrastructure Program for an infrastructure grant in the amount of $35,000 to partially defray the total cost of the washroom upgrade component be endorsed. Comments or questions? All in favor? Opposed if any? That's carried. The next item is a Committee of the Whole report, and it's been moved by Deputy Mayor Charbonneau and seconded by Councillor Rich that Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores adopts the Committee of the Whole report dated June 13, 2016, recommending that Council donate $500 to Crime Stoppers. Any comments, questions? All in favor? Opposed if any? That's carried. Next item then is there's a staff report with it. I'll just read the motion. I think everybody we'll take any questions then. It's been moved by Councillor Rich, seconded by Councillor Madison, that Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores deems the Port Elgin BIA's farm to table dinner and dance scheduled for August 12, 2016 to be an event of municipal significance for the purpose of obtaining a special occasions permit from the Liquor Control Board of Ontario. Any comments to that? Councillor Dave Myatt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll just say, if you're planning on going, get your ticket early because it's going to be a hot event.
Thank you. All in favor then? Thanks. Oh, thanks. There's two notices of motion there, one on tree endowment and one on... Oh, this is the motion, sorry, yeah. And there is a notice, yeah, this is the motion, right? Thank you. So I'll read this. It's been moved by Deputy Mayor Charbonneau and seconded by Vice Deputy Mayor Huber. Whereas at its January the 12th, 2015 meeting, the Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores adopted the following resolution. The Council authorized an interest-bearing reserve fund to be established and maintained for the purpose of holding funds received from the Nuclear Waste Management Organization, and further that this reserve only be used to fund future projects, programs, or services that benefit community youth or seniors, community sustainability, energy efficiency, or economic development initiatives, or otherwise deemed to improve community well-being. And whereas the extent and health of the community's tree canopy has a direct impact upon the general well-being and sustainability of the community as well as the individual's well-being of each of its citizens, and whereas a large part of the tree canopy is increasingly threatened by the spread of emerald ash borer, Public Works estimates 825 ash trees will be removed on the roadsides alone due to the emerald ash borer. And whereas it is possible, with the help of existing community groups, to establish a tree planting program that would benefit all parts of the community and offset some of the tree losses created by the emerald ash borer. Now therefore be it resolved, the Council directs all interest and or interest earnings generated on the principal in the Nuclear Waste Management Organization Community Wellbeing Reserve to be used annually, endow a program to provide stable funding for planting trees across the town of Saugeen Shores, and that Saw Green for the Environment be approached by the town to lead the development and implementation of this program, that this endowment shall last for a period of 2 years, beginning in 2017, and be considered for renewal thereafter, and that no part of the principal $400,000 in the Nuclear Waste Management Organization Community Wellbeing Reserve shall be used for the purpose of financing this endowment. Comments? Councillor Mike Myers.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sure the mover and seconder may want to speak to this in the room, but I wanted to commend both our Deputy Mayor and Vice Deputy Mayor for this initiative. I think investing in trees in our community and using the interest on NWMO funding, I think is just a tremendous project. And I wanted to congratulate both for the wording in taking the initiative for this program. Really, really good program. So congrats to both.
Okay, any further comments? All in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. So now the next one is a notice of motion, and it has to do with beach maintenance, and it will be disposed at the next meeting. So we're into bylaws now, and the first one is the bylaw to authorize an agreement with the Grace Sable Conservation Authority, and it's been moved by Vice Deputy Mayor Huber, seconded by Councillor Mike Myatt, that bylaw 74-2016, being a bylaw to authorize an agreement with the Grace Sable Conservation Authority, is hereby read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed and sealed this 27th day of June 2016. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. Next item then is authorize an agreement with the Ministry of Environment. And it's been moved by Councillor Matheson, seconded by Councillor Mike Myatt, that bylaw 75-2016, being a bylaw to authorize an Ontario transfer payment agreement with Her Majesty the Queen in right of Ontario, as represented by the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, is hereby read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed and sealed this 27th day of June 2016. Any comments to this? Questions to the bylaw? Not all in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. Next item is authorize a subdivision agreement, Summerside. And it's been moved by Vice Deputy Mayor Huber, seconded by Councillor Grace, that bylaw 76-2016, being a bylaw to authorize the entering into of a subdivision agreement with Lord Elgin Estates Development Limited, is hereby read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed and sealed this 27th day of June 2016. Any comments to this motion or bylaw? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Next is an rezoning on 412 Godrich Street, and it's been moved by Councillor Grace, seconded by Councillor Dave Myatt, the bylaw 77-2016, being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 75-2016, being the comprehensive zoning bylaw for the town of Saugeen Shores by John Sakanovic for lands described as 412 Godrich Street, Town of Saugeen Shores, is hereby read a first, second, and third time and finally passed and sealed this 27th day of June 2016. Comments, questions? All in favor? That's carried. The next item then is bylaw to rezoning 644 Bruce Saugeen Town Line, and it's been moved by Councillor Mike Myatt, second by Councillor Matheson, that bylaw 78-2016, being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 75-2016, being the comprehensive zoning bylaw for the town of Saugeen Shores by Brian Merkley for lands described as 644 Bruce Saugeen Town Line, Town of Saugeen Shores, is hereby read a first, second, and third time and finally passed and sealed this 27th day of June 2016. Any comments or questions to this motion or bylaw? All in favor then? Opposed, if any? That's carried. The next item then is rezoning for 223 Saugeen Beach Road, and it's been moved by Councillor Matheson, second by Councillor... Sorry? Jumped one. Okay, sorry. I meant getting in a hurry. It is 800 Arlington Street. Thanks, Carol. It's been moved by Councillor Matheson, second by Councillor Mike Myatt, that bylaw 79-2016, being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 75-2016, being the comprehensive zoning bylaw for the town of Saugeen Shores by Barry's Construction and Installation Limited for lands described as 800 Arlington Street, town of Saugeen Shores, is hereby read a first, second, and third time and finally passed and sealed this 27th day of June 2016. Any comments or questions to this motion or bylaw? All in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. Now we're at 23 Saugeen Beach Road. And it's been moved by Councillor Dave Myatt, seconded by Councillor Grace, that bylaw 80-2016, being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 75-2016, being the comprehensive zoning bylaw for the town of Saugeen Shores by Paul Schmaltz for lands described as 23 Saugeen Beach Road, is hereby read a first, second, and third time, and finally passed and sealed this 27th day of June 2016. Any comments or questions to this motion or bylaw? All in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. The next item is acquire road widening for Knowles Lane, and it's been moved by Councillor Rich, Deputy Mayor Charbonneau, seconded by Councillor Rich, the bylaw 81-2016, being a bylaw to acquire lands as road widening and assume into the municipal road system, is hereby read a first, second, and third time and finally passed and sealed this 27th day of June 2016. Any questions or comments to this motion or bylaw? All in favor? That's carried. The next is the final one, isn't it? Yes. Is authorize a lease with family tied rentals. It's bylaw, and it's been moved by Councillor Grace, second by Councillor Dave Myatt, that bylaw 82-2016, being bylaw to authorize an agreement with Family Tides Rental Corporation, is hereby read a first, second, and third time and finally passed and sealed this 27th day of June 2016. Any questions or comments to this? Vice Deputy Mayor Huber.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I realize that the Director of Community Services isn't here, but I'm hoping that someone who maybe was involved with the Waterfront Committee meeting might be able to respond. We didn't get a lot of information with this. I know there's been concerns in the past about jet skis and that sort of thing in close where people are swimming. I'm fairly confident that these particular recreational opportunities don't fit into that category, but I would just like to be assured about that. And my second comment relates to the financial impact. I understand and appreciate the idea of the town providing an opportunity for a new business to perhaps have a little bit of an incubator kind of thing, but this report doesn't include the same kind of information we've received in the past, for example, with the paddleboard business about how they were going to actually set up at the beach and the kinds of space they would take up and if there's potential for storage and that sort of thing. The reason why I ask is that we have other leaseholders along the shore who are paying a lot more than $200 for having access to that particular location and that particular audience. So I can appreciate, year one, a little bit of a break, but certainly, we're about to do I think anyway, some major things down at the shore, and certainly revenue becomes a critical part of that. So I just am curious to know, what are the parameters of the business plan in terms of the space they'll take up on the beach, and will there be any kind of comment that we might anticipate from people about this infringing on swimming space? I don't think there will be, but without seeing pictures and the business plan, it's hard to tell from the report. Thank you.
I think the CEO can comment.
Through Mr. Mayor, yes, we've in fact expedited this pilot project to let these folks try and get started as soon as possible. And I know they've had a number of conversations with the director in terms of where the location that they propose to establish their business from, and we do not anticipate any conflict whatsoever with the swimmers in that particular area. They're fairly docile devices as far as I understand, and I think that the Waterfront Committee did get a more fulsome explanation as to what the plan is. But just like with the stand-up paddle boards, I think we want to try this year, see how it went, and then sit down with them and talk about what happens in future years on a more comprehensive basis.
Well, having said that, it's difficult then, because the report, if we approve it, we're saying that the lease next year is $300, and so I'm just, again, cognizant of the fact that we're hopefully going to roll out some pretty incredible things, and we should be looking for partners within that to create recreational opportunities at the shore, but I don't think we should plan to give it away.
Through Mr. Mayor, I believe it's a one-year lease that expires in July of 17, so that we'll have an opportunity to talk about what the next year looks like.
So,
Councillor Mike Meyer.
Mr. Mayor, I am on the Waterfront Committee, and I was here for this discussion at the meeting last week, and they did not want to delay it to July 11th, obviously, because the summer's upon us. They wanted to get started right away. So Jane, our Director of Community Services, decided, well, let's bump it up. That was a request of the Waterfront Committee to bump it up, to put it right directly on the regular council meeting this evening. Non-motorized, propelled by your own power. It's eco-friendly. I think there's 6 units. It's another opportunity for a recreational opportunity on our waterfront. There's a certain level of fitness involved, and I just think it's a good thing. Should have come on the 11th, probably, but should they have come to us earlier? Yes, but it's a short time frame, and the key line, and I think in Jane's report too, is municipality is not obligated to renew the agreement, in 2017. So it's really almost a 1-year trial thing. And 6 units, and I think it's going to be a nice attraction for the waterfront. I think people are going to enjoy riding the bikes. So,
Thanks, Mike. Councillor Rich.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's going to be a great thing too. I think that just more stuff down at the beach, more things for people to do, healthy activities. I think it's all great, and I'd like to help these guys get a start. And then, like Larry said, we can talk about it again next year and see where we go.
Thanks, Councillor Rich. Any further comments? Call the question. All in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. So the next is a confirmatory bylaw. So it's been moved by Councillor Dave Mayette, seconded by Councillor Grace, that bylaw 83-2016, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Town of Saugeen Shores, is hereby at our first, second, and third time, and finally passed and sealed this 27th day of June 2016. All in favor? That's carried. It's been moved by Councillor Rich, seconded by Councillor Madison, that this regular council meeting of June 27, 2016, hereby adjourned at 10:05. All in favor? We're adjourned.